I think it's time we take a look at a wolf that's weird. Welcome back to my channel. In today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at Transformers G1 Retro, Headmaster, Weirdwolf, and his Headmaster, Mongso. If you're new around here, please remember to subscribe to my channel, leave a like, and leave a comment. With that being said, let's begin. And here we have Weirdwolf in his G1 Retro box. And as you can see, I like the box, just like we had previously with the Chrome Dome. You get to see what the Headmaster face sculpt is going to look like. You got the Headmaster here, Mongso. You have more couple steps to show the transformation. On the back of the box, you got the inspired G1 box art right there. And then up here, we have his function, which he's a tracker. Here's a little bit of a quote there, which my pleasure with my enemies pain comes, cruel, vicious, but apparently built with a few wires crossed, talks to himself in a sing-song backward way. Destroy the Autobots, I shall. And then we got the tech specs for over here, for his strength, speed, and so on and so forth. I think that's pretty cool. Wish they had that with the newer stuff, but they don't. So, let's get him out of the box and see how cool he actually is. And here is Weirdwolf out of the box, and we already have him in his beast mode, and that's how he comes out of the box. You just have to attach his tail, which actually eventually becomes his sword. I just want to show that off real quick, because I think the molded detail here for his weapon is pretty cool. In some of the other variations, there is this like red here on his tail instead, but in this version we just get the tail one single color, so it's more like an off-white that matches up with his head, and also right here on his butt. And that just plugs in back here. Just want to show that off right now. And also another variation is his front paws are actually painted silver in different variations, but in this version he is not, along with his back paws, I believe. And also he still has the articulation for his mouth, and they gave him silver teeth in this one versus red in some of the other variations. And then he still has the red eyes right there. I think that's pretty cool. And overall, the yellow, from what I can see, all matches up. So there's no different color yellows on this like there was on one of the Titans Return version. You still have the red. You got like a clear plastic, like I would say, I wouldn't say red. I would say more like a magenta color from off camera here. It's a little hard to see with the lighting. It makes it look like it's red, but it's more like a magenta. Then you got the blue, which I like. I like how it's a dark color there. You do have the silver in certain places in his teeth, and then in here you got that in there. So I think that's pretty cool what they decided to do with him. And then for articulation, does have some articulation here, so you can move his paws up and that. Sorry if I don't know animal joints and stuff like that, but his head does turn a full 360. Obviously the mouth opens. The up and down is not much of anything. His front legs are on ball joints, which will also help him in robot mode then. Eventually that turns into his arms. On the back of the legs, he does have some more articulation here to get his back legs into opposable like wolf legs, like how they're supposed to be for an animal. So I think that's pretty cool. The tail we already shown off. It just stays in one place. There's no articulation for that. There's this piece right here. If you open this up, it just pops open. This is where you can store the Headmaster. He just sits in there. And here is Mongso, his Headmaster. And if I can get his arms, he does have a little bit of articulation. I can't get that. There we go. There's his arm right there. And we'll bring him up real close. He does have a little bit of a red face there. White head, white body, blue arms, and blue legs. Obviously the articulation is just that, just so he can fold up, he can sit. That's mainly what he's for this part, and you just sit him in just like this. And we will take a look at that head sculpt then, but we just want to get him in here, sitting down. You want to get him down all the way, or this piece will touch the top of his head, which you don't because you got two different colors there. It's going to mark up that white. So once you have it all clear, you can go ahead. So he's in there. Nope. Looks like he's not in there all the way. So, oh yeah, he is. Okay. My bad. So there he is on that. And another accessory he comes with is this big giant cannon. It has some molded detail on it. It's different. It does match up with the color of his legs, that blue. So overall, I think that's pretty cool. There is another gimmick where you can take the Headmaster. So we'll sit him in here. So it looks like he's going to be arming this cannon, and there's these two pegs right here. They go in these two holes right here. They pop right in, just like that. He just kind of sits in there, and now he can fire the cannon while Weirdwolf is in beast mode. So I think that's pretty cool, like the little gimmick that they're doing. So I think it's still a pretty cool win there. So for the transformation, you're going to remove the sword, and I really like this weapon. Take a look at that again a little bit later, even though I did show off the molded detail. So you're going to come down here to his back legs. You're going to unfold these. These are going to turn into his robot feet. You're going to straighten this out as best as you can. You're going to, these don't lock in when they're up here really. They kind of sit up here. So you just kind of just bring these down and they'll lock in, because that's going to be his legs then. So that's what you're going to do there. So he's kind of standing up a little bit higher than I was expecting, but we can adjust that, no problem. So we're going to bring his arms down. We're going to bend the paws back. We're going to turn this arm like this. And do just turn them just like that to line up the molded detail there. That's the best way to navigate that. Then these things are in there really, really tough, and I'll show the other one off. But these panels here that lock in for where they're hiding his hands. Let me see. So if I bring it up like this, so you want to pop it from this side, on this piece here my nail is rubbing against, not from over here. So there's this little piece of plastic sticking out. That's when you want to lift up, and it's on this side as well. So I'm just going to come up behind it and just lift it up. It won't break. It's just really tight. My fear is these hands are on that thin little piece of plastic, so be more careful on that. That's the most noticeable thing on this figure in particular. It just seems to be a little bit more on the sensitive side. So just click that back in. You're good to go. Next up, so you got the legs ready. You're going to come back over here. You're going to lift that up, just to free that up. I already got the Headmaster out of there. Just set him to the side if you haven't. So you're gonna pull the head. There's this tab right there from that hole. You just pull that back, and the ears will line up with these two holes here. They just kind of sit there for now, out of the way. And the next thing you're gonna do, let's see, yeah. So you're gonna push on this. There's a hinge right here. So you want to push on that, and I'm gonna turn around to show you. So when he's like this, that means he's in beast mode. So when you bring it up and you bring it all the way up, push it in, bring this down, turn it around, and let's see here. It's one leg's a little bent. There we go. Then you're going to take the Headmaster, and we are going to simply transform this. It's very basic. And we'll take a look at the head sculpt right there, and I like how that red paint, the red eyes, the red face, like the white on it, and the back of the head is that blue, since obviously the transformation between his legs and his arms, so that matches up very, very well. So I think that's pretty cool. And then his little head right there has the red face as well. So I think that's pretty neat what they decided to do on this iteration of them. And you're just going to tap it into that hole there. Oh, there we go. There we go. So there is Weirdwolf in robot mode. And we're going to take a look at his range of motion here. So he does have a bicep swivel due to the transformation, so it's also 90-degree bend at the elbow. He has no wrist articulation whatsoever due to the transformation of how this is. His head is on the ball joint of the little Headmaster, so it can turn. His head, shoulders are on ball joints, and he can do a full 360. The legs can do about that much. He does have a thigh swivel right in there. Can bend 90 degrees at the knee. He has a little bit of articulation with the ball joint for his ankle, which is pretty good. And I think he can do the splits. He's got to raise his arms up, and he can kind of get that far, so it's not too bad. He has some good articulation overall. And here you have him with his sword, and like I said, I think this is very cool. It's one really large sword, and then also with this cannon, what you can do, you can put it in his hand. It doesn't stay very well. It's just, I think it was just poorly, it kind of, I guess it kind of works. So you can have that big giant cannon, hand cannon right there. I think that's pretty cool. I don't care for it. It feels like every single time I press this in, it feels like I'm trying to force it to bend with the thumb. It might be due to the molded detail around this peg. So for my case, I'm just going to take this peg and just stick it right here. And that's going to be where that's going to stay for storage, because there is nowhere else to store it on the back or anything. There's no other holes for the peg or anything like that, so there's nothing else I can really do other than plugging it in on the shoulder, which is totally fine. I still don't find that to be a deal breaker whatsoever. My final thoughts on Transformers G1 Retro Headmaster Weirdwolf. Honestly, I think this guy is so fantastic for beast mode or in robot mode. I really like both modes a lot. I like the colors, they all match up perfectly between the yellow, the blue, the white. We have the silver, we got the red face sculpt, and then we have the silver teeth when he's in wolf mode. So I think it just works perfectly. I wouldn't change a thing on this guy. I have nothing really to gripe about it other than that peg just doesn't seem like it wants to fit in his hand very well. So that's nothing even really knock a figure, because he has his sword, which I would think he would use that a lot more than this thing. So awesome figure. If you're able to find it, pick it up. And that's going to be it for this review. I only have fantastic things to say about it, so I'm just going to leave it at that. So thank you for watching, and I'll be bringing more Transformer content very soon.